Glad it didn't scar you. Now, you met Sinatra early in your career,
Yes,
didn't you?
when I got out of the Army.
Where did you meet him?
I still had my Army suit with the gold bird on it, right? See? And I could get free tickets. No, that's true. And you'd go up to NBC or CBS, and you'd say, point at your thing, and you had your hat on. The guy said, oh, well, the soldiers will come first. Discharged soldiers come first. They'd give you tickets. And one day, I'd been at the show. He was doing the Old Gold show then at the time. And I'd been at the show, seen it like 3 weeks in a row. And he recognized me because, first of all, there weren't a lot of black people going to see Frank Sinatra at the Old Gold show, you know. So he kept looking out at the audience like this, you know. So he comes out one day, and I'm standing by the stage door. And he looks at me, and he says, didn't we work together once? And I said, yes, but it was only 3 days. We replaced an act when he was with Tommy Dorsey. He remembered. He said, yeah, you work with your family. I said, yeah. He said, hey, you come to, he said, you're out, huh? I said, yes, I am. He said, you want to come next week? And I said, oh, could I? He said, yeah, come and watch rehearsal. And he turned to one of the guys. His man at the time was named Hank Sanacola. He turned to Hank Sanacola and he said, see Charlie over here? I said, my name is Sammy. He said, it's Charlie. He said, you see Charlie over here? When he comes here, make sure that he gets in for the rehearsal. He said, see you next week, kid. He got in his car and drove off, and it was heaven. I walked back to the hotel we were living in from Hollywood down to Fifth Street, man. It must be 20 miles. I just walked in heaven, floating lightly, you know, because I had met this man, and he remembered me. And that was the second beginning of our relationship.
How much influence did he have on your career?
It's immeasurable. Immeasurable. First of all, I wanted to be like him. I wanted to dress like him. I wanted to look like him. You know, I took my hair and had it all done up with the curl cues down here.
Yeah, but you can impersonate him.
Oh, I used to. I used to do it.
Can you still do his voice?
No, I don't do him anymore. I don't do impressions anymore.
Don't you?
No. In the act, I found out it's awfully hard to do impersonations today at home in America. Because I don't know how to impersonate Rob Lowe.
Yes.
You know?
Emilio Estevez?
Right? I don't know how to do him. Martin Sheen, I can't do, you know? So, and the personalities are not, and I can't do groups musically, you know? So, in the show here, I do a little bit of Michael Jackson. That's the only thing I do. But when I first came here in the old days, we had people to impersonate, you know, the great actors, and they were still with us. And now if I do impressions, it sounds like the old show business joke about, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to show business in heaven. And because everybody's up there, man. Everybody, I work with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby came out one day on the stage with me. We were at Harris, and he said, I finished it. He said, do the impressions tonight. This is prior to the show. I went out and did the impressions, and he wanted me to do the impressions so he could do the following joke. He walked out, and he said, Sam, you were wonderful. Don't you do any people that's alive? True story.
Now, you had your wild days, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because it's apparent from the autobiography again that 50 years of age was a bit of a watershed for you, wasn't it?
Yes.
You decided to let it all hang out then.
Well, here, you know, with the excitement of the 50s, the late 50s, the 60s, to come to London in those days to walk down King's Road at Carnaby Street and just to go shopping, and all of the friends and the buddies were around, and it was wild times. It was innocent times by comparison to today, but it was wild.
Yeah.
And the ladies were the most attractive, and the guys were the coolest, you know.
Yeah.
And you just hung out. Yeah, where's the party tonight? Yeah, yeah, I can't wait, you know.
Yeah.
And you'd wind up doing one show at the Prince of Wales and 5 shows on Carnaby Street or something. But you learn. Thank God the man upstairs allowed me to get older and a little wiser, but payback, boy, your body. All them good times from the 60s. Every once in a while, when I get out of a low sports car, my body is saying to me, I told you to take it easy. Because you hear, well, I think I just sit here a while then.
Did you ever go out on stage having taken one too many?
Yes. I've done that, but again, the fates were very kind to me because something would happen, that line, that magic line would happen. When I walked on stage, it was, that focus was there. Except one time, someone sent me some brownies. And I didn't know that they had put something in the brownies. I was munching on these brownies, and I'm, you know, so that your audience knows what I'm saying, someone had cooked marijuana in the brownies. Now, I cannot tell you the feeling it was. Now, I'm going on the stage. I'm about half hours in, and I'm munching on these brownies, and I'm getting stoned. So I'd look like this, and someone came in, it could have been Shirley Rhodes or Murphy Bennett. They went like this, what are you eating? I said, oh, these are good. And they looked at it, cracked it, and there was a stem sticking up, you know, from the marijuana, and they could see it, like this. And the guy said, you know, you got stuff in here. That is not the terminology they use. You've got stuff in here. He said, they cooked them brownies, get that stuff out of here. And I said, no wonder I'm feeling funny. I said, well, what can I do to come down? Because now the guy's saying 15 minutes. They said, someone said in the room, why don't you drink some hot soup? I said, good idea. I love soup. So I said, get me some tomato soup. They got it, and I'm drinking it out of this big cup. The thing that I didn't know, that chemically, if you eat marijuana and you drink hot soup, you go through the ceiling. And now by the time the man said, you've got 5 minutes, I'm going, yeah, baby. I'll be there. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be there. I walked on the stage, and this is God's honest truth. I did the opening number, a second number, and I turned to the audience and said, I know I've been on a long time, so may I say good night. And I walked off the stage thinking I had done an hour, 20 minutes. And the audience, this was at the O'Keefe Center in Toronto. I have never played back there again. Because I don't know where to begin to say I apologize. Oh. But that's the only time it ever happened, really happened, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, never. And I don't eat nothing that people send me. What is in that? You know? No. But I learned my lesson the hard way.
In the book, you've said that you've always wanted to be a star.
Yes.
And it seems that certainly you sacrificed your first marriage, or that went down, simply because you gave family life a go, and you felt the show business part was beginning to flag, and you realized that was your priority. Is that true?
Well, that's true, but it's not as deep as it really goes. What happens is my commitment to show business, so wrongly placed. There should be a place for your life as a human being, as well as your dedication to your commitment to your profession. I didn't see it that way. That was my dumbness. I only saw, there's another mountain to climb, there's another movie to do, there's another date to play. I got to be the biggest, I got to be this. In the meantime, my wife, my ex-wife, and my kids were suffering. Now, every time I'd get a guilt feeling, I'd put on my Robert Young jacket, and for 2 weeks out of the year, I'd play Father Knows Best. You know, and you can't. What kind of a life is this? And it was just drawing us apart like this. And finally, that lady that I was married to, who went through such pain because of me, and who, I must say, we have remained dear friends, and she did a remarkable job in bringing up the kids, because they are super kids. And I now have a relationship with my kids, but it's based upon honesty. She just said, I can't take this anymore. She said, and I never want to get to the point that I hate you. She said, because you're a nice person, but you're just pointed in the wrong direction. Now, by this time, I realize what's going on, and I'm caught up it's like that mouse that runs on that wheel. And I can't get off it. And I watch my wife and my 3 kids. Now, naturally, everything is financially taken care of at that period, and I get a chance to see my kids when I'm in town, which wasn't that often because I'm working 40 weeks a year, because that was my need to work. See, I got to work, plus the fact that I was spending more money than I was making. But really an idiot, you know.